Camille, hey, congratulations. Premiere. The audiences will have a chance to watch this new documentary, Who is Stan Smith? How does it feel for you tonight?
It's an incredible moment just to finally have this film out for the public to really see and consume and really learn about who Stan is and realize what an amazing and incredible human being is beyond just being an incredible tennis player.
So tell us about your involvement and how you were brought on board to this project.
Sure. I actually was the one who called Stan and said, hey, I would like to do a documentary on you. I saw the coffee table book that he did, thought that the title of that book was absolutely clever. Some people think I'm more than a shoe, and I'm a huge tennis fan, and I felt like his story from a cultural standpoint can resonate with so many, between people who wear the shoe and didn't know who Stan is, and people who are tennis fans who didn't even know the shoe was named after him. So I called him up. I said, can we do a story on you? And he was gracious enough to say yes, and I had the privilege of putting this incredible team together to produce this film.
So not much convincing on your end?
No, Stan, if you get to meet Stan, thankfully he's a very amenable guy. I think that knowing that Spring Hill was behind this, we're an athlete empowerment company that LeBron James and Maverick founded, and under the ethos of, especially Uninterrupted, our athlete empowerment brand is about giving a platform to athletes to tell their stories and about showing that they're more than just athletes. And I think Stan is the epitome of anybody that's more than just one thing.
Now, of course, Stan has a long career, a long history for himself. How did you manage to gather other people to join this project, for other interviews to talk about Stan?
I think that the biggest thing is that if you tell anybody you're trying to do something on Stan, most everybody will say yes, because I think his character and what he's been to a lot of people, they want to give back for everything that he's done for the sport, for humanity, for everything else. So getting folks who, especially in his inner circle, were easy. People who are from the Adidas side, like Pharrell, that we wanted to have that voice in. I think that they understand the impact that Stan's had in culture, and we're super amenable. Everyone really wanted to participate, and we were really fortunate. That doesn't always happen.
Now, I want to say you are fairly young. You have never watched a Stan match, when was the first time you heard of Stan?
That's a good question. So I'm a sports nut. I grew up following sports. I grew up playing tennis as a young kid. So I think that I got an introduction to tennis in the 80s and 90s, and so it was just after Stan kind of left. But I think that probably in my early childhood, when I started to learn about some of the earlier greats, the people who were coming up who paved the way for Connors and McEnroe, Stan was definitely in that conversation. So yeah, I wasn't fortunate enough to see any of his matches live, but I think what we're seeing in the generations that came after is the path that he paved, and we're fortunate to see the level and the caliber of tennis now, and hopefully that American tennis can continue to grow in the way that the Europeans have kind of dominated now more recently.
You ever own Stan Smith shoes?
Oh, of course. Plenty of Stan Smith tennis shoes. I actually have an all-black pair that are more of like a suede, and I used to live in New York City, and it snowed all the time, and I would wear those, and they would protect my feet all the time, and yeah, I loved them. They're my favorite.
Well, it's excellent. And one last thing. When audiences have a chance to watch this film, what is the one most important take you hope they walk away with?
It's a great question. I think for me, it's about understanding and realizing how great of a human being Stan is, and you'll understand that when you watch the film, is that he's not just a great tennis player, but he's an incredible family man, husband, father, brother, and the list goes on. And if people can see what he did to give back in spite of his privilege, then hopefully we all can do better together and use some of his characteristics in our own lives to do good for others.
And before I let you go, I'm just curious, who's the next sports athlete you guys are working on?
That's a great question. I think you have to make sure you check out our YouTube and Instagram, and we promote all of our stuff all the time. So check out Uninterrupted's Instagram, and you'll keep up on all the stuff that we have coming. We have a lot of things coming down the line.
Well said. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Thanks a lot.